In this yoga for hip opening class, we focus specifically on the hip flexors. I'm really excited to share this class with you because everyone needs to stretch these core muscle groups.
It's time to feel uplifted. To begin, come on down to a downward facing dog. So whatever that looks like for you, spread the palms wide, press down through index finger, knuckle, and thumb. Just kind of pedal through the legs. So bend the left knee deeply, press down through the right heel, and switch. Press your torso towards your thigh bones. And then bend both knees generously, send the sitting bones high towards the sky, and then yearn both heels towards the mat. Totally okay if they don't touch. Just prioritize a long spine here. Deep breath in and out. Once more, in and out. Step the left foot forward, so starting on the left, right knee to the ground. Bring both hands to the left thigh. Really press the hands into the thigh. Use that pressure down to open the heart and let the hip sink down. So right away, you should feel the right psoas, one of the major hip flexors, begin to open as you just let yourself sink. 2 more deep breaths here. Breathe into any sensation. And don't let the hip sink too much if it feels like sharp shooting pain or like you can't breathe into it. You can always press down into the thigh and squeeze the inner thighs together to make it less intense. Second variation, take both hands to the inside of the foot, heel toe the left foot to the left. So the heel's on the mat, the toes are in the floor or wood in your house. And now let the hips sink down again. So now we're getting into psoas and inner groin, but we're approaching it from a different angle. Rock side to side here, kind of move the booty left and right. And if you're really open in your hips, you can also do this with the elbows on the ground, but that's intense for most of us. So just stay with the hands on the ground and the heart lifted, rocking side to side. And then coming into a little quad stretch. This is optional. So level 1, just stay here, let everything just sink down. This is a great place to be. Only if you've been doing yoga a while, bend the back knee and hold the foot with the left hand. And if you can't hold the foot, you could use a towel or strap. Otherwise, hold the pinky toe towards the seat and then kick the pinky toe side of the foot into the hand and roll the chest towards the ceiling. So you have hand pressing into foot, foot pressing into hand. 3 deep breaths here. And this quad stretch is something that you can work up to. We're going to do a different quad stretch a little bit later if this feels like too much. Wherever you are, step back to downward facing dog, pedal through the legs. And we'll do that same little psoas stretching routine now on the right. So step or carry the right foot forward, bend the left knee, hands interlace and press onto the right thigh. Use that to spiral open the chest and then exhale, hip sink down. So you're aiming for a big stretch in the left psoas. If the hip sinking is too much, squeeze the inner thighs together so that you still feel the stretch, but it's not so intense. Lift the chest, close the eyes, 3 deep breaths. Left hand down, right foot heel toes wide, right heel on the mat, toes on the floor, and take the hands to the inside of the right foot. And then little rocking movements left to right, letting the hips sink down. If the hands being on the floor is too much, you can come on to like these cupcake spidey hands that I'm showing on the screen right now. And blocks and books work well too. And then if you have a lot of range of motion, you're down on the elbows. So one's not better than the other. Just feel what is right for you. If you did it on the other side, bend the knee for the quad stretch. Hold the pinky toe side of the foot, spiral heart to ceiling. Otherwise, just stay in the first variation. We have another quad stretch coming later. If you're here Kick the foot into the hand. 3 deep breaths. Squeeze the inner thighs together. And now we'll all meet downward facing dog, pressing back. Inhale, rock forward to a plank position. You can lower down in one straight line. If that's challenging, just lower the knees. Keep everything else in one straight line and lower down with control. Take the elbows directly under the shoulders. Press the forearms into the floor for your Sphinx pose. So let's find this position first. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Press the thighs into the mat and lift the kneecaps up so the legs are extremely strong here. Shoulder blades come together on the back. Collarbones broaden. And then take the left forearm parallel to the front of the mat. So this is the other quad stretch. Bend the right knee, and it's often easier to hold when we do it this way. So the right hand now is going to hold the big toe side of the foot this time of that right leg and push the foot down. So the secret here is that you also have to press into the left elbow as well. If you don't, you just kind of sag and you're not really going to feel that deeper quad stretch. So press into the left elbow and then pull the right foot towards the right seat. It's okay if the right quad wants to widen a little bit towards the right. You might feel that. It's totally okay. Keep the foot also kicking into the hand, so you have that dynamic opposition of hand pressing into foot, foot kicking into hand, quad widening, and then press into the left elbow like crazy. 2 more breaths here. And if you can't hold this, just use like a little towel or a strap. We'll come back to center, just breathe and notice the difference between the 2 sides. So forearms down, elbows under shoulders, deep breath in and out. And just notice the difference between the 2 legs. Maybe notice the difference between the right eye and behind the right eye and the left. Right forearm now parallel to the front of the mat, left arm reaches back, big toe side of the foot, and then flip your fingers forward so your toes and fingers are facing the same direction. Press the hand into the foot and the foot into the hand, and then once you have that, press down into that right elbow to sort of hoist you up for the deepest quad stretch. The quad may widen, sliding towards the left edge of the mat here, and that's totally okay. So left foot presses into left hand like crazy. Right elbow really presses into the mat. Deep breaths. Allow the quad to lengthen and widen out to the left if that's naturally happening. 1 more breath. And then let that go. We'll come back to center, back to our Sphinx pose. Arms parallel, elbows directly under shoulders. Engage the legs, kneecaps lift. A few deep breaths. Beautiful. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. Shift back into a child's pose just to find some flexion. Just wiggle the hips left to right. And then opening up the outer hips, come to lie down on your back for ankle to knee. So fingertips should graze the heels. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. And then I want you to hold, and for some of you this may be enough, right? You just feel a stretch on the outer right hip. If you already feel that stretch, you just stay here. If you don't feel that stretch yet, pull the left thigh in towards the body. And if you can't reach, that little rolled up towel or washcloth or belt will help you, and you could also prop the head up with pillows. Deep breaths here. So again, we're looking for a stretch in the outer right hip. And then I like to rock a little bit towards the left. And I pick my right booty up off the floor as if I'm going to fall to the left. So just a little bit. And keep the right foot really flexed so the heel isn't on the thigh. The heel is overhanging the thigh. Your ankle's really on the thigh, not the heel. So pulling the thigh into the chest, if that feels good. Think of the right knee moving away from you, away from your face, and then maybe the right booty picks up off the floor. So it's like you're tilting to the left and your left elbow's kind of propping you up. 3 deep breaths. And the hips open really slowly. So I'll recommend a longer hip opening class for you as well after this. Come back to center, switch the legs. So this time left ankle over right thigh, really flex it. Make sure the ankle is over the thigh, so no sickled foot or heel on the thigh. It's really ankle over thigh. And then this may be enough. You just stay here. Think of the left knee moving away from your face. Otherwise, you're going to pull the right thigh towards you while still thinking of the left knee moving away from your face, just energetically. That kind of gets you into a deeper place with the hip stretch. Left foot is deeply flexed, right foot can relax. Couple breaths here, and then if you want to do that side lean like I showed on the first side, you just lean a little bit to the right, your left booty lifts up off the floor. I find that angle often gives me an interesting stretch. And then my left elbow here is kind of like pressing in to the left thigh to make sure I have the knee moving away from the face. 3 more huge breaths, whatever variation you're in. You don't have to lift the seat. You don't even have to pull the thigh in. Just breathe into whatever you're feeling. Beautiful. Come back to center. Let both soles of feet come to the mat. Take the soles of feet as wide as the mat now and drop the knees in to touch one another. Constructive rest position. Take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Huge breath into the belly and then the heart, and then breathe it all out. Once again, deep breath in, belly, chest, and then relax everything. Relax the face, jaw, eyes, tongue. And I'll leave you here to relax. Thank you so much for doing this hip flexor stretch class with me.
Thanks so much for practicing with me. I want to make sure you know about my free Chakra challenge. Immerse yourself in this 7-day experience at the link you see below. From my heart to yours, namaste.